Continuing our mini series with our most improved player candidates for the 2023-2024 season. Let's jump into it. I don't want to waste your time. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more, hit that notification bell, and let's jump into it here with a video preview. What exactly are we talking about? We're going to be looking at finalists and candidates for most improved player for this upcoming NBA season. I'm going to give my reasoning. Now look, there might be a player I leave off that you think should be on here. Let me know down in the comment section. I read every single comment. I would love to hear what you guys are saying. And then also a mini series of awards candidates. I already have Coach of the Year up on the channel. At the time I'm recording this, there's going to be other ones coming out too. MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, Rookie of the Year, all of those good awards that we want to talk about this year will be up on the channel. And then ultimately we'll conclude the series with my actual final predictions for each award with one candidate that I'm choosing to be my pick for the year. Super excited for this series. And let's jump into our first candidate now, Obi Toppin. And I think a big part of most improved player is typically a change of role. And in Obi Toppin's case, we're talking more so about a change of scenery and how important that is for him here with this opportunity to turn into a really key piece for the Indiana Pacers this year. He was traded from the New York Knicks to the Pacers, and I think he gives the Pacers a really different type of player than they've had surrounding Tyrese Haliburton in the past. Now look, the Pacers get up and down the court extremely quickly. They have a lot of athleticism. They have a lot of good pace in their play. Tyrese Haliburton, a very good hit-ahead passer. Buddy Hield likes to get up a lot of threes in transition. We know how good Miles Turner is as a player. I think Bruce Brown's going to push the pace for them as well. They've got a lot of nice options, but I think Obi Toppin gives them kind of that vertical above the rim presence. It's going to be a little bit Nash and Stoudemire-esque there in Indiana with what we see between Haliburton and Obi Toppin. Now, I'm not suggesting Obi's as good of a player as Amari was. Stoudemire was such an insane talent at the power forward position. Obi's probably not going to turn into that. But I think kind of the play types, the archetypes that they possess kind of fit into that same molding. And because of that, they're going to be so much fun to watch. And Obi's going to be given a much bigger role. Now listen, they also have Jarris Walker. We'll see what Indiana does in terms of minutes, but I think Obi Toppin's primed to put up points throughout his career. He's been very productive as a scorer on the time he's been on the floor. And I think this year in a bigger role with Indiana, he's going to put up numbers that are going to drastically change how people perceive him and kind of the discourse around him around the league, which I'm excited for, and Pacers fans, you should be as well. Now, to rival Obi Toppin in the most improved player candidacy is going to be Jaden McDaniels, and I actually put up a tweet saying how these two guys are going to be dueling this year for this award. And I think that at the end of the day, they're going to be two of the front runners for sure. Jaden McDaniels, I think, took a real stride forward last season as well. Now, his scoring input didn't go up a ton, but his efficiencies did. He also, I think, really grew into one of the better on-ball stoppers in the NBA. And I don't even just say defender, I say stopper, because that's what he has the capability of doing on any given night to any superstar. His length, defensive timing, and his ability to maneuver around, stay in front of guys is really high level for an NBA defender. And I think he's a player that not only does he bring rim protection, he brings some of that defense, but I think offensively he's been underexplored up to this point. I think the Wolves are going to lean into him a little bit more this year with D'Angelo Russell not being on the roster to actually start the season. And I think the Wolves are going to play with a little bit more structure. But I think that a guy like Jaden McDaniels, he can thrive in structure and without structure. And I think because of that, we're going to see his points go up. He's in a contract year now at this point. They're looking to get an extension done with the Timberwolves. Maybe they do before the season actually starts. But if not, he's looking to have a big year, and I think he's slated to have one on both ends of the floor. I love Jaden McDaniels' game. I think he's a really good player. I think his three-point shots coming around more and more each season. Of course, we know what he's able to do when he puts the ball on the deck, get to certain spots in the mid-range area. That's really what his game was at Washington as a collegiate prospect. And then when you're also looking at the defensive end, he's just an insane player. And I think he should be firmly in the race for most improved player. If I had to set a prediction today, he'd probably garner a lot of respect from me. But we'll see who I end up putting in my final award prediction. And then we have three players here who kind of fit into the same echelon of most improved player, and they're kind of in the same category. And I think you'll understand the reason why I have them bunched together here in this video, because I think they're all kind of finding themselves in similar yet different situations. For Jalen Green of the Houston Rockets, brand new head coach. Kevin Porter Jr. is no longer the point guard. They have Fred VanVleet, Amen Thompson, two guys who I think are going to set up the offense a bit better, specifically Amen. And I think Jalen Green, at the age he's at, going into year number 3 of his career, I think you're looking for a season that is going to be somewhat of a breakout year. Now, I know he's put up numbers in the past. I think this is kind of the coming of age season for Jalen Green, where he starts to put everything together, raises his efficiency, the Rockets win a bit more, and I think people are going to start to respect him quite a bit more as an individual talent. I had him number 2 on my board in his own draft, and I still feel really good about that. I think the talent speaks for itself. He's extremely athletic, a very good shot maker, and I think he's going to put up numbers again this year, but I think they're going to be in a little bit of a more efficient style, and I think people are going to respect it quite a bit more. Now, if you had to say, do I think he's going to win the award? Probably not, but I think he's going to be in the mix for the award, which is all you can really ask for, honestly, when you're discussing a player like Jalen Green. I think there's a lot of respect that he's going to earn this season. And you look at a guy like Anfernee Simons, obviously his situation is quite a bit different there in Portland. You look at what he did last year without Damian Lillard. As a starter, he was fantastic when Damian Lillard did not play last year. Of course, Damian now finds himself in Milwaukee, opening up a pathway here where Anfernee Simons gets more opportunity. Now listen, he has to share some of that opportunity with Scoot Henderson. So that's one of those things that kind of limits me in thinking, oh, this is a surefire lock. Because if it was just him as kind of the true point guard, he would put up massive numbers. Now, I do think that there are some flaws around Portland's team right now. And listen, there's other guards there. Malcolm Brogdon's still on the roster. I'm not sure how many minutes a game Anfernee Simons is going to play. They, of course, have to try and get Shaedon Sharpe in the rotation, too. We'll see what they do. Matisse Thybulle is kind of a wing player. So I'm not sure what Anfernee Simons' minute load is going to look like, but I think from a talent perspective, the guy can put the ball on the deck, he can put the ball in the hoop, and I think he's a growing passer. And because of that, you're looking at a player who's going to put up numbers, and he is going to do some really nice things this year for Portland. Even though Portland's probably not going to win a ton of games, they're probably a 30 to 35-ish win team. Simon's going to be at the center of a lot of that. So he's a player you have to keep your eye on for this award. And then Jordan Poole, he's destined for a big productive season with Washington this year. Traded from the Golden State Warriors, where he's kind of a 6th man and then like 5th starter. They used him kind of in a way similar to Tyler Hero in Miami. And at times just felt like Jordan Poole wasn't the right fit in Golden State. I, in fact, made a video last year during the first round of the playoffs that I just thought, Jordan Poole is almost unplayable for Golden State. But listen, completely new situation here. I think the Wizards did really well jumping in, trading Chris Paul for Poole and draft capital. I thought it was a very smart, savvy decision by their new front office headed by Michael Winger. And I think Jordan Poole's in a position here playing next to Kyle Kuzma, Bilal Coulibaly, who I really like. You'll see him in some Rookie of the Year conversation probably. But Jordan Poole specifically, when you're looking at an individual player who's going to put up numbers, he could be destined for 26, 27, 28, 29 points per game this year. Probably 6 to 7 assists just because he's going to have the ball in his hands that much. The Wizards aren't going to be very good. That is by design, and that is A-okay. When we're talking about most improved player, it's an individual award. I don't think winning should be a massive part of it. Now, it does matter. Winning is super important, and the more you win, the more respect you get, the more national TV games you get, the more people pay attention to your team. So Jordan Poole has some factors working against him here, but from a pure statistical standpoint and the actual talent he possesses, I think he's in a position to receive some respect for this award as well. And then we get into some other interesting candidates. First, I want to start here with Mikal Bridges. I think Mikal Bridges, we saw what he did toward the back end of last year after getting traded from Phoenix to Brooklyn in mid-February. He kind of took off, just became a completely different player with the Brooklyn Nets, especially when you look at his splits, comparing his son's tenure and his short tenure so far with the Brooklyn Nets as the number one option. He clearly is somebody who is capable of doing more than he was asked of in Phoenix, and because of that, the Nets kind of slid in, took advantage of it, getting him in the trade for Kevin Durant, and they kind of roll into this season with the same expectations that Mikal Bridges is their number one option offensively. Now, does that mean it's going to lead to a ton of wins? maybe not. I have some concerns about Brooklyn, but I do think that their team is very interesting. They're probably a piece away from being a really good team. And I think Mikal Bridges, if he has a great season, can keep them afloat a decent amount. I like Nick Claxton. I think Ben Simmons is going to have a better season this year. And I think the Nets in general, with Dinwiddie, some of their other options, I think they can put together a pretty good competitive defense. And I think Mikal Bridges, he's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting offensively, which puts him in prime position here statistically to really improve on his numbers from a year ago in totality. Then going into another candidate that I'm sure a lot of people were hoping to see, a lot of those Lakers fans specifically, Austin Reaves. Feels like this guy has so much buzz around him. The Lakers are going to be on TV a lot. Of course, the mainstream media pays so much attention to the Lakers. He feels like a lock to be in the conversation. He's going to have a better year statistically than he had a year ago. I think the Lakers this year, with Darvin Hammer going in with the expectation that Austin Reaves is probably their secondary ball handler behind LeBron. He's going to run way more pick and rolls than anybody on the team other than LeBron James. And I think when you consider the fact that they're going to put the ball in his hands, there's expectations that he's going to be the third star next to Anthony Davis and LeBron James. He's in position to have a lot of opportunities to put up numbers, impact winning, and I think he does that a pretty good amount. You look back to his Oklahoma days as a Sooner back in college, and it just felt like this guy was always making plays with the ball in his hands. I think he is capable of doing that at an NBA level, but we'll see how he kind of sticks in, and sometimes things in LA just don't go as planned, right? So that'll be something to keep our eyes on. We'll have to see how the Lakers look this year. They've got an interesting cast. They're very defensive oriented, which I think is good, but there is going to be some challenges in terms of spacing around Austin Reaves and LeBron and AD. I like their composition. I think the Lakers will be pretty good this year, and we'll see how Austin Reaves plays himself, but I think he'll be firmly in the running for this award, which really excites me. Now, reminder, we are going to have final award predictions out soon on the channel, so make sure you do stick around, leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content like what you saw in this video. And thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure to check out that previous video on the channel, or go check out one of my suggested videos there on the right. Really hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe for more, hit that notification bell, and we'll catch you in the very next Utility Sports video.